So this weekend on Facebook, an old friend posted a lot of pictures for the Arizona Regional Convention on Narcotics Anonymous. Now, maybe it was just his point of view. However, all I saw was old people. And I'm an old person. I'm 65 years old. However, all I saw was old people. I hardly saw any young people, maybe 1 out of 20. Now, maybe that was just his biased view of that convention. But it just seems like this has become an old cronyist, pat on the back type of social situation. That's really all it is. And I'm glad all these people are clean and they all believe they have wonderful lives, and I'm sure in their minds they do, and I'm not questioning that. And I can tell you this, I am very grateful. I'm grateful what I learned there. And what I learned there in the end is I didn't need it, that I wasn't an addict, that addiction is not a disease, and that there's no reason for me to waste my time in those rooms. Those rooms were a waste of time. And yes, it let me catch a breather long enough to, get out of a habitual, addictive cycle. I believe that addiction is a behavioral problem. It's not a disease. So if you're struggling with that, you can get clean and stay clean as long as you want to. You don't have to drink. You don't have to take anything else, any other drugs. And if that suits you, that's just fine. It suited me for 30 years. But now I don't have to be clean. I'm not an addict. I use cannabis for my medical situation. I'm really grateful that it works for me. I drink a little bit of alcohol once in a while. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. However, I don't find myself getting intoxicated to the point of unmanageability. I learned that I can manage this stuff, and it's just fine. However, I guess there's just a lot of folks who can't, and I believed I couldn't either for a long, long time. I had this deadly fear that if I took anything, I was going to die. But what I learned was once I had a headache, and I took half of Vicodin for it, and it got rid of my headache, and I didn't want any more Vicodin. I also learned that I took tramadol for quite a while because I have a lot of back pain. I have chronic osteoarthritis, which causes me pain, chronic pain. I took that long enough. The thing of it was I developed a tremor, so I quit taking the tramadol. So since I have decided that I can medicate, I've also found that I don't have to addict myself. Now, if there are those of you who are deathly afraid to take anything because you might addict yourself and you might experience great calamity, then don't do it. You don't have to do it. However, I couldn't see hanging out with this same old bunch of cronies year in and year out and not attracting anybody, not having something that is attractive to a lot of young people, and not really covering all the bases. It's just, all complete abstinence, and there's a lot of crazy talk like, work the steps or die, motherfucker. There's all kinds of crazy talk like that. If you use, you're going to die. All this stuff, and then all this crap about spirituality. Spirituality is not necessary for a lot of people. What is it? It's things that are of the spirit, the practice of things that are of the spirit. Well, what's spirit? Well, that whole hidden thing in the program, or at least in the fellowships, was always about some God, and usually, you'd ask, well, who's your God? Well, it's God. God. Then there's all this Calvinist thinking of there's a God out there that determines everyone's fate and has a plan for your life, and that God is love, and all these different belief systems about God or a higher power or whatever. I found that I didn't need that either, but I found that about 5 years into the program, thank goodness. And so it didn't taint my experience. However, it was annoying and disgusting that people were always bringing this up and, oh, my God has a sense of humor, my God is testing me, my God, blah, 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 blah. It was just disgusting that they had such poor imaginary friends. I also found you can build your own imaginary friend and have it do your bidding. That's a whole different subject for a whole different set of video blogs. Anyhow, I'm having a great time this weekend. I went to a local comic fest. It was absolutely wonderful. It was a lot of fun. People were doing things. I wasn't loaded. I had to take ibuprofen and Tylenol to keep the back pain down, and Robaxin, muscle relaxer, and I made it through. Today, I didn't go to the fourth day of it. I needed to relax, and that's what I've been doing. And a little bit of cannabis has helped me get through the pain of the day, and I feel great. And I'm going to have a great dinner tonight, hang out, watch a little bit more TV, and I'm also going to write a blog about which I'm going to call A Good Jesus. And, you know, it's Memorial Day. Memorial Day, this country is such a joke with all the turning the military into some sacred entity. And military service is this great thing protecting us from what? Protecting us from what? What? They're not countries that are not going to invade this country. We're under no threat, really. First it was this communist thing, back in the 50s and the 60s. That was all bullshit. Those were countries that were poor and downtrodden. And actually, that form of government, as oppressive as it was, did pull them out of that. Whereas capitalist systems hadn't done that. So I don't want to hear anything about this Memorial Day crap and, what sacred pariahs, members of the military are. Thank you for your heart being in the right place. And no thanks to you whose heart's in the right place, but your head is up your ass.